AEW All In hot takes. You got them and I want them. I am fresh out of the show. Literally, I still have my credentials, okay? But we are here. AEW All In is done, and I asked you guys over on Twitter immediately after the show your hot takes, and you sure did deliver. So if you guys are watching this and you're not following me on Twitter and you want to submit your hot takes, you should follow me. This is probably the most hot takes that we have gotten on this series so far, and thank you guys so much. You guys are unbelievable, and I know that you all love professional wrestling since you are watching this right now, and you also love some badass women like me. So subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you never miss a video. We've got a lot of hot takes, folks. Let's get into it. This was the best wrestling show of the year, hands down. Hands down, the best wrestling show of the year, but definitely the best pay-per-view that AEW has put on so far. I thought the pacing of the show was probably the best that AEW has had. It did feel like the show was taking you on a journey throughout the entire roster, but the beginning was slow, but not bad. There's no complaints on that. The beginning was slow, and then we moved up to the middle. The middle seemed like a really good breather, and then we got to the last three matches. And the last three matches, when we got to Toni Storm and Mercedes Mone, it felt like next level big fight feels, especially with that match. And then we go beyond all the way to the main event. I thought the pacing for this show was really, really good. And I agree with you. Definitely the best wrestling show of the year so far. Maybe not the spiciest of takes, but Dustin will lose the TNT title by the end of the month. They made the best out of a bad situation, gave us the feel-good moment. Now give the belt to Fletcher and shoot him to the moon. I do agree. Dustin Rhodes winning the TNT title was very unexpected. I did not expect that at all, but the crowd also did not expect it as well. I don't know what it was like at home. I obviously have not watched it back yet, but the crowd was really into that surprising ending to the TNT championship match. I mean, it's unfortunate what happened with Adam Cole, of course, but nice that they were able to construct a feel-good moment for Dustin and also the wonderful people of Dallas as well. It is unfortunate that how we got there, but you know, maybe this is time for Kyle Fletcher to, he's been marinating a little bit, you know, on the roster, and I think he is bound to win this title. But I also think for the feel-good moment and the just sad circumstances that we had with Adam Cole, you know, is he gonna lose it by the end of the month? I don't know. I don't really know. I don't book the show. Who's to say when he's gonna lose it? But I think they definitely made up for a sour news with Adam Cole, baby. Kenny Okada was kind of boring. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you only because I'm a Kenny mark. I'm sorry. I'm a Kenny mark. I will put it out there. I love Kenny Omega. And you know, I really don't think that this match was boring, but I think it depends where you're coming from with if it's boring or not. If you're comparing this match to the stuff that they were doing in New Japan, you gotta stop. Those were two completely different beasts over at New Japan. Okada and Omega are not the same wrestlers. They are not the same talent as they were in New Japan. They definitely have to like revise their style, and you know, they don't really have that much left. I don't think Kenny Omega has that much time left in the ring, which is not a bad thing. You know, he's really put his body on the line, especially really watch the technique that he used in New Japan. It seemed like he did not give a fuck about his body. And now it seems like he does. I feel like maybe we shouldn't be too hard on this match. I think we're very lucky we even got this match. Let alone at this match at the level at AEW as well and on American soil. I don't think it was boring. If it was boring for you, I'm so sorry. But for me, I loved it. Ooh, we got one from Marissa. Oh, damn. She came through with 3 hot takes. Okay, let's go. 1, still should have been Darby over Hangman. 2, Jet Speed should have beaten Hurt Syndicate. And 3, we needed Jack Perry's return, possibly to screw the Bucks. 1, Darby Allin. Let's talk about the fact that he pulled up, or rather pulled down. He came down in the SpongeBob meme. His body was just like, I'm going down. I don't know if that's what he learned at Mount Everest or something. Who knows? But I will disagree with you on that. That is a spicy take. Jet Speed. I said it in my fuck ass predictions over on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I mainly post my fuck ass predictions. I thought that they should have won as well. I think that they should have kept up with a little bit of the momentum. I mean, they had a really good pop live. Jet Speed. So I agree with you on that. And then 3, we needed Jack Perry's return. You want to know a hot take? A spicy take. The spiciest of takes, probably. I miss Jungle Boy. I don't like the Jack Perry gimmick, and that's me. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not alone on that, but I miss the Jungle Boy. I hope that Jungle Boy comes out and he swings on a vine and screws the Bucks. That's my prediction for that. Mercedes versus Tony, best match on the card, match of the year contender. Dude, that match was a lot of fun to watch. Best match of the night, I'd have to go back and see how it was on the broadcast, but that match was top fucking tier for the both of them. I don't think it'll be the last time that Mercedes goes after that title. I think it is, we're bound for it, but Tony, dude, Tony's on just another level. The reaction that Tony got tonight, I'm sorry, she is the face of that company. She is truly such a magnificent character within professional wrestling right now. Just overall the best. Match of the year contender, I will say for Toni Storm, the match of the year for her is definitely the one at Revolution against her and Mariah May. Best match of the year for Mercedes, possibly. But these are the 2 best women's wrestlers that we have right now, especially in AEW. AEW has just tremendous women on their roster, and this one just popped off. During the media scrum, Tony Khan divulged that Adam Cole came forward and decided he wasn't fit to wrestle, considering how many times we hear from guys who push themselves to compete when they really shouldn't have. Huge respect for Cole to put his health first. Man, Adam Cole, our baby, it was really, really sad to see him come out the ring. When he came out, I knew something was up, and a lot of people in the media and the press box were talking about it, and we were saying, like, how did this happen? How did he get hurt? A lot of people were questioning if he had an indie show this weekend, which I don't think he did. I think more information needs to come out, obviously, after this video is done. Tony Khan, during the press conference, mentioned that he had a discussion with Adam Cole the night before All In, and it just was the decision. It's really sad to see a tremendous talent like Adam Cole have to step away for God knows how long. I'm really sad about it because I've watched Adam Cole since the pure Ring of Honor days, way before he was in WWE, and to see his trajectory with the Bebe chants as well, to hear it louder and louder and louder. It's really sad to see where it is all now, but huge respect on Adam Cole. It's hard being professional wrestling. You're always putting your body on the line. You don't know what will happen to you in the ring and also outside of the ring as well. But you know what? Adam Cole's going to be fine. Adam Cole's going to be good. There's such a good community behind him, and especially with his Twitch streaming community as well. So if you're not supporting him, Chugs, good old Chugs, please do. Please watch his streams. Please show him some love. But I agree with you. Huge respect on him for walking away and to take care of himself. Mox during the match. No way. Not the saw. Dude, There was a point during the match, which will be on the AEW All In vlog, so please check that out. Again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It'll be on the vlog. But there was a moment in the match where Hangman Adam Page was just stabbing Mox, I believe with a fork, and he's just like going in on it, and there was dark blood that came out. It wasn't just like regular old, my lipstick blood or my tattoo blood or anything. Like, it was dark blood. It was just wild. It was so wild, but that's such an out-of-pocket picture. But it also makes me want to watch Saw. God damn, that first movie was so good, dude. The plot twist. Give Mox his flowers. The long drawn out build of hatred allowed for this moment to happen. It absolutely did. Mox absolutely deserves his flowers. Now he can go on vacation. You know who also deserves their flowers? Renee Paquette deserves her flowers, okay? Could you imagine, as a wife, as a partner, to watch your beloved, your husband, the father of your child, go through that? She deserves her flowers too, okay? But yeah, man, the hatred was just built up, and it was a good payoff. It was such a good payoff. Also, shout out to Marina Shafir as well, building up that hatred with Mox. They did a really good job. I thought they were a really great team together. The long drawn out build of the hatred definitely allowed for this to happen. As a viewer, I felt like I was getting sick of the briefcase. I want to see our championship. I want to see our title. And I hated that. That was my hatred. Towards it. And I'm glad that we finally got to open up the briefcase. Mercedes losing the AEW women's title is not a bad booking decision. Toni Storm was 0-2 at All In since joining AEW, and she needed to win the big one herself. And it sets up Athena versus Toni at a later date, which will give us Athena, Mone 2 down the line. Ooh, I see we're in the kitchen because I see that we're cooking. I love it. I also don't think it was a bad decision. I really don't. Dude, Toni is freaking hot right now. There's just no way that you would take the title off of her. That's one. Two, Mercedes does look really good with that title. There was a moment during the match where she picked up the title and she held it above her head, and I looked at the screen and I was like, damn, dude, that title looks so good on her. But it's not her time. I really don't think it's her time. I think that Mercedes needs to lose the titles, and she's in a historic point in her career right now. I feel, and maybe this is a hot take, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I feel that Mercedes needs to lose all of her titles and then go after the Women's World Championship, so that the Women's World title means a little bit more. There are way too many people collecting titles. There are way too many belt collectors. I think that she's doing a great job, and I think that she should keep this up for a really long time. I really, really do. I think it was good that she didn't win tonight. And her streak is broken. We love to see it. Maybe the Mercedes Moné fans don't love to see it, but I'm excited for Athena versus Toni, ROH versus AEW, essentially. And eventually we are going to get that big match feel with Athena versus Mercedes, and hopefully at the level that we saw tonight with All In. Women's Gauntlet match was better than the men's, to be honest. Once again, my fuck-ass predictions over on Instagram and TikTok were true. I said that the women's Casino Gauntlet was going to be much better than the men's, and I was right. I feel that there were more surprises that was in store for the women's, and dude, I mean, there were surprises all across the board with the men's as well, but Suri coming out, which was insane because they had just announced that she was going to come to the company last night during Ring of Honor, and now she's here and she has officially debuted. I am so freaking excited for this. I feel like the crowd was so much more excited for the Women's Gauntlet than the Men's Gauntlet live in the building, But dude, yeah, I'm really, really freaking proud that we can say that the women's gauntlet was much better than the men's gauntlet. And there's just more love. We got to pour more love within that women's division. And it already has so much love, tremendous talent all across the board. And it just really felt like the crowd was so uplifting with the women, and they all massively killed it. And I feel like that women's gauntlet really proves that we have a really, really strong women's division in AEW right now. And I want to see more from all of these women, more title shots from women, like, you know, more from Tekla, more from Willow, more from Chris, like so many across the board, Julia, you know, and there's just so many. And so I think we're in a really good path with the women, you know, give some women title shots that maybe haven't gotten the opportunity yet. And also let's get more storylines for the women that don't involve the titles, of course. But yeah, Olivia, I agree with you, much better than the men's. AEW women's division is S tier with talent, and that was displayed tonight. Absolutely. Across the fucking board, dude. Across the board. This AEW women's division just feels so good. It feels so good, and I have a good feeling, and I really hope that they capitalize it. I really, really do. I have a good feeling that with this women's gauntlet specifically, feels like it could open up a new chapter within the division because it was so good, and it definitely was so much better than the men's from what we were talking about previously. But yeah, dude, AEW women's division is top freaking tier. They are so good. Definitely was displayed from Mercedes and Tony with, again, the women's gauntlet. It's pretty exciting stuff that what we got with the women tonight. Really good. I definitely feel like the women had the best matches on the card. I really do. I would put the Casino Gauntlet and Mercedes and Tony up there. I really would. They were great. It didn't need to be 8 hours. They could have cut at least 90 minutes of the show and it still would have been a great show. So here's the thing. I have been in that building for what, 8 hours? I've been in that building for 8 hours, also including the media scrum. I would agree that 90 minutes probably should have been cut, but it didn't feel that bad because it was still an afternoon pay-per-view. To be fair, I left my hotel at 11:30 and I'm getting back at my hotel at around 10:30. So, you know, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. is a little long, for me at least. But since it was during the day, I really don't mind. I didn't mind it at all. The patriarchy could have Conchordo, I gotta butcher that, I'm so sorry, Christian multiple times during Cope's whole ass entrance with Pyro before he made the save. Texas Death and the Women's Casino Gauntlet were the matches of the night for me. Oh man, let's talk about Adam Copeland coming back. Coming back and confronting Christian and saying, go find yourself. Go find yourself because you have lost the plot fully and your family has turned on you as you deserve. As you deserve. But yeah, Adam Copeland coming out with the pyro and everything just reminds me of Jeff Hardy dancing before he has to save his brother. Same energy. Absolute same energy there. Yeah, what are we going to see with Copeland and Christian? Are they going to reunite? That's going to be crazy. That's going to be a huge pop when they reunite and that big old hug. That's going to be fun. Way, way too long. I don't know what to tell you, okay? Were you watching at home or were you at the venue, okay? I was there and I was fine with it. I don't know, dude. Maybe this is a hot take, but we're always complaining about like 8-hour shows, but this was during the day. So what's the problem? I don't know. What's the problem? Like, you trying to go out on a Saturday night? Maybe, but also like pause the show, go out, have fun, come back to it later. I don't know. I think that there are lines to be drawn with long shows, but this was an afternoon show. Again, I don't see the problem with it. Was it way, way too long? No. Was it way too long? Yeah. I would agree with you that. One way. Give me one way, not two, okay? My way or the highway. I need to go next year. You do. You absolutely do. Starcast, I was not there, so I can't speak much of it because I did injure my leg. There's the boot. I can't speak much about Starcast, but I arrived Wednesday. I was at Dynamite. I heard Collision was good. I did attend Ring of Honor, and that was a lot of fun. And then tonight with AEW All In, it felt like a huge show. There was such great energy from the crowd. I can only imagine what it was like really in the crowd, especially on the floor. In the press box, I could feel the energy. From the press box, I could absolutely feel the energy. This is a show you need to go to. And let me just say this. If AEW continues to have huge shows like this on American soil, I can see All In being massive compared to tonight. Absolutely massive. I can see the potential all across the board. So yeah, maybe you should go next year. The pop for the reveal of the World Championship from the briefcase proved the Death Riders storyline actually worked. The middle of the story could have been better though. I can't really speak on the middle of the story because I don't think it could have been better. I don't think it was the worst, but I was losing interest. Does that make sense? I wouldn't say oh, it was awful. It could have been better, but it was I'm kind of losing interest. This kind of feels like filler material. You know what I mean? You know when a show has an episode where it's this could be important to the entire storyline that's happening throughout this whole season of a show, but there are filler episodes. I think sometimes we need to start processing storylines and little feuds sometimes as filler feuds. Does that make sense? It's not an insult towards the storytellers or the talent whatsoever, but the middle of the story with the Death Riders, I was just losing interest, but I wasn't turning off the TV. Does that make sense? But yeah, it definitely worked. Who cares what the fuck happened in the middle? Who cares? It worked, right? How was the payoff? Was it good? It was great. Thank you very much. Mercedes winning would have been the right call. Hear me out. They continued this undefeated streak and she passes the torch to Athena, who would have beaten her for the title. I definitely think that there is a possibility that Mercedes could pass the torch on to Athena. I don't know so much about passing the torch now that I actually say that out loud, because what is there a torch to pass when Athena, especially in the press conference, mentioned that she has been making history, breaking records? So I don't know about passing a torch. I'm going to have to really know what you think about that, especially on the comments below. But this could still happen. This could still happen. It doesn't have to happen now. I really don't think it could happen now. But with the undefeated streak breaking finally with Mercedes, that needs to shake her up. She has 7 titles. She has to eventually lose them. And I think losing to Toni Storm now maybe beats up her confidence a little bit. Passing the torch on to Athena, again, I don't know about that. Athena's great. I think Athena holds her own torch. But eventually down the line, we are going to get Mercedes versus Athena. And I really want to see Athena go over on that match. And for the world title, yes. Absolutely yes, and I could see Athena winning. But my thing is, I think that both of those women just need to be clean on titles. I don't think they need to hold any other titles. I think that with the Women's World Championship, whoever wins that next should just solely have that. Because the Women's World title, to me, is such a huge priority. And I know that everyone's like belts on belts on belts on belts now, but I just feel that if you are going to win the world title, that should be your number one priority in protecting that title and protecting your division. And I don't think that you should be worried about other titles. And that's how I feel with Mercedes and Athena. I think that they will face off, and I think that they will eventually face off at the Women's AEW, World Championship. But I think they need to do it just stripped clean of their titles that they have already. I think it started off a bit slow, but once it got to the halfway mark, it was nothing but pure excitement until the end. Excellent show. I agree. I think the show started off slow, but that's not a bad thing. I think we needed to pace ourselves for sure. And I think it started off from, the match that people were like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll watch this, to holy shit, this is the match I paid my ticket for, all across the board. I think that with Mercedes, Tony, Okada, Omega, Mox, and Paige, those were the number one, like the three best matches that people were looking forward to the most. And I think that those three matches were definitely the ones that people, paid their tickets for. All that being said, I do think that it was slow, but that's not a negative thing. That's not a negative thing at all. Again, the pacing was really good, and there was a lot of excitement throughout the show. It was a really excellent show. God tier cinema and storytelling. This is why I love professional wrestling. Thank you, AEW. Thank you, Mercedes. Definitely God tier cinema and storytelling across the board. I hope Mercedes gets that thank you shout out from you. But yeah, the cinema was definitely top tier. I can't wait to watch some of the AEW highlights that the social media team posts up. But the storytelling was really great. I think I can honestly say, after tonight, I can confidently say that AEW possibly has the best storytelling within American promotions. I can't say of the world because I'm not really watching the worlds. Joshi, we got Joshi, all right? We got Stardom and we got TJPW, Marigold. Those stories can be pretty emotional as well. But in AEW, they are popping off for sure. And AEW honestly makes me fall back in love with professional wrestling over and over and over again. And I had many moments tonight where I had full circle moments of like, holy shit, Okada, Omega. I used to stay up till 7 a.m. to watch those Dominions, those Wrestle Kingdoms. And now 8 years, almost 10 years later, Jesus Christ, almost 10 years later, I'm going to AEW All In Dallas, Texas as a media credentialed, doing press, watching those two just absolutely put it all on the map. AEW definitely makes me fall in love with professional wrestling over and over and over and over again with every single one of their shows. So I love professional wrestling as well. Maybe for the first time, TK did the right choice for every single result. But when Okada pinned Omega, I was totally shocked. I agree with the first part. I think that they got all of the results correct, especially Athena winning the women's casino gauntlet. Absolutely, that was the best decision that they made tonight on the show. Okada pinning Omega. Let's talk about it because I do see that there are some people that are shocked about it. I want to give those people the benefit of the doubt that are saying like, oh my God, Kenny is cooked. He's not good anymore, blah, blah, blah. Why are they giving Okada, all these wins? Yada, 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 whatever. I don't think those people know, or maybe they forgot that Okada was Kenny's biggest mountain to climb in New Japan. Every single time that man faced Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, it was such a defeat. The first match he lost. The second match he lost. The third match he finally got it. But it was such a struggle for Kenny Omega to beat him over in New Japan. So I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all that Okada got the pin because that's the story. I feel like we're telling the story from the New Japan days. They're not telling the story from the AEW days. It just really doesn't. Remember, Tony Khan is a massive professional wrestling fan. I think that he is retelling that story, or at least picking it back up from where they left off at New Japan. So watch those matches between those two if you have not, and it will make sense why it's not shocking at all that Okada pinned Omega. MVP was great on commentary, looked ridiculous wearing a hat and sneakers with the badass suit, and the entrance song would have been better with just the recording instead of the rappers singing it. I can't speak on commentary because I couldn't really hear it. They were playing commentary in the press box, but again, I don't really hear it, and I am so programmed to tuning out commentary as I'm watching, so I don't know what he said on commentary. You guys are gonna have to let me know. And if he was great, that's good. I'm glad. I don't think he looked ridiculous. I thought he looked cool with the hat. I don't know. I was saying to, I think, Righteous Reg, where I was like, I think he looks pretty cool with the hat. I will say, my one complaint, the audio at AEW shows could be a lot better. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like, I don't know if it's like the atmosphere. I don't know what the specific audio that they're using, but from the people like singing the songs, I know that it's difficult for the actual singers or people in bands to hear themselves, especially in a crowd like that. So I can't really speak on that, but with the microphones, I don't know what it is, but the sound quality at AEW, it isn't terrible, but I feel like they could make it louder, or they need like a Bose system. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they need, but it's not a knock on the talent, like the people singing it or like rapping. I think it's more just like the audio. I don't know. I don't want to bury the audio team or whoever it is. I just think that maybe it could be louder. I don't know. Hearts, thank you for your hard work throughout the show. MJF was the only correct winner here. His title reign was legendary, and I can't wait for another one. Okay, here's the thing. His title reign was legendary. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I can wait for another one. I do like when MJF is being a little shit, challenging for the AEW World Championship, and now we're going to see it for sure. There could have been some other winners. There definitely could have been some other winners. I mean, I'm going to be biased and say that I would have loved to see Brody King. I would have liked to see somebody new. I don't know. I just would have liked to see somebody new, especially if we're going into a new era with the World Championship now with Adam Page. I would have just liked to see somebody new. No disrespect to MJF, and you know, he's got Happy Gilmore to promote, I'm sure, but legendary reign, yes. Again, I don't need to hold my breath on another one. I'm just not. I don't need to. I don't want it. Sorry. They need to retire Spike and his family members, because that's the one thing that makes me very squeamish. But besides that, it was 9 out of 10 show. Hot take, the women had the best Casino Gauntlet match ever in AEW. I do like to be squeamish, though. When I'm watching AEW shows and we've got these death matches and they go balls to the wall, I like to squeam. I like to cringe a little. Because I'm not going to find that anywhere else on a pay-per-view. I'm not going to find that in the other company's shows, you know? So I like a little death with my match, okay? I like a little blood. Spike can go away, because I don't know her. But Spike can go away. But in terms of, like, the squeamishness of AEW, I kind of like it. Like, I like to just watch the match with my eyes like this and still enjoy it. So I don't mind it, but it was a 9 out of 10 show. It was a really good show. Hi, Alex. Sorry to hear about your ankle, and I hope you have a quick recovery. All In had some pacing issues early, but everything from Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve to the end of the show was a religious experience. Thank you so much. And to address my ankle, it is still in a boot. I've got my crutches over there. I don't know what the recovery time is because I still have to go back to New York. So we'll see what happens maybe a few days after this is uploaded. Maybe I'll have an update. But the pacing of the show was good. I thought overall it was good. I do think that after Bucks, Ospreay, and Swerve, it went into the next gear. Afterwards, it went into the next gear within the rest of the show. Religious experience, I would absolutely agree with you on that. The Bucks and Ospreay and Swerve, dude, absolutely lost my shit. That ending sequence too for that match was really, really great. I loved it. Shout out to the Young Bucks entrance. But that was also an entrance, going back to the audio issues that I mentioned earlier, that was an entrance where when Justin Roberts was like going through like their announcement, I was like, I can't hear him. And it was like almost mumbly, but other than that, Great entrance, great match, religious experience. I would agree up with you on that. It was a religious experience. And finally, overall incredible show. First half seemed quiet from the crowd. Second half was alive, and the matches ate as usual. The matches did eat. The matches popped the fuck off, for sure. Again, I would have to see what you guys were watching through the broadcast with the crowd and the noise, but the crowd was loud. The crowd was loud. There were some pretty significant pops throughout the night. I would say some of the biggest pops throughout the night was definitely Toni Storm. Toni Storm had a huge pop. Brody King had a really good pop as well. I'm probably forgetting some other ones right now. But overall, great show. Overall, incredible show. AEW knocked it out of the park. Everyone across the board, they knocked it out of the park. I do think that the first half was like slow, but again, I think that's okay because we had to pace ourselves for a very exciting show, and the show was very, very exciting. So a little quiet from the crowd, I wouldn't necessarily say so being there live, but again, I'd have to look back on the broadcast. But yeah, overall, incredible show. Incredible show. Guys, we got through the AEW All In Hot Takes. This is our first AEW Hot Takes, so thank you so much for sending these over to me. Of course, if you're not following me on Twitter and you want your hot takes shown on the channel, follow me on Twitter. You can find all of the links down below, and I am gonna take my ass back to New York. Thank you, Dallas, and thank you, AEW, for the invite on the show. You guys did a tremendous job. And also, I can't thank everyone in AEW enough for being so accommodating to my foot. I can't thank you guys enough at all. Such a freak accident that happened to me. And I will probably come out with a story time about that as well. Actually, you can check out the vlog. The vlog will have the story time for that. But thank you guys so much again, and I will see you next time. Mwah! I love your faces, and I'll see you soon. Bye!